Hello everybody, we're on another episode of Swift Talk. On this episode, we're going to talk about Godzilla Minus. This is the best monster movie in cinema. I'm just going to go ahead and start it off right there. We're going to go right into talking about spoilers. I'm not holding nothing back. So if you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and go watch the movie. It's not going to be in theaters long. It's probably going to only be in theaters in America until Sunday. So you want to go ahead and see it before Sunday this weekend. I'm not sure which day that is, but you need to go ahead and see it before then, because this movie is absolutely breathtaking when it comes to some of the things they've done. And this has never been done with monster movies, right? But they focused on the characters, right? And they focused on stuff that most people can connect to. So let's get into it and let's talk about it on this episode of Swift Talk. And before I finish and go to the intro, please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You know that talk, that Swift Talk, that Swift Talk.
You can't understand us cause you're too soft.
Shit, how they coke.
Alright guys, let's go right in and talk about Godzilla Minus One. As you can see on Rotten Tomatoes, it is a 97 for the critic score. Now, it was 100, but somebody went in there and started doing some weird stuff. I was hearing that some of the critics on here wasn't really being forthcoming about them actually liking it, or they wasn't even really a fan of Godzilla to begin with. So yeah, you're going to have a couple people that did that. But when you watch this movie, you'll get why it has such a high rating. It's even better than any movie that Marvel put out this entire year. So knowing this, going in there that this movie is highly rated, I still came in there with low expectations, because most Godzilla films tend to be, they keep making him a good guy. They keep making him cool, this type of thing, And that's nice and all, but sometimes, you got to switch it up. And so they went back to Godzilla's humble beginnings, when he's actually a villain, to society, force of nature, something that we can't beat. And then this takes place right after, like a little bit after World War II. So you throwing that on top with all this other stuff that's been going on, and it just turns into a very crazy and dramatic and dreadful time period to be in. Like, they already was trying to recover from going to war, barely doing anything against the Americans, and then the government they had wasn't really doing right. They was just throwing people at them, even if it just did a little something, they was just throwing people at them. And you get to see their side more so than, the American side, which we have movies that talk about World War II with Americans and how Pearl Harbor was a big deal. Like, I'm not going to say, that movie, or no, that situation was something that you still shouldn't care about, or something you still shouldn't, feel something about. You should still feel a connection to that, because that was a big deal. All those people who lost their lives in the line of service, and it's a shame, what war does on either side, and seeing either side, the politics and everything. Godzilla Minus did a good job of, showing us their side and what happened, and then kind of leading up into like, okay, now we got to deal with this new threat. So they had to come up with ways to fight. Everything they tried just wasn't working. They tried to fight Godzilla in the water. It didn't work. They tried to fight him on land with tanks. It didn't work. Everything they threw at this man, because this time period their technology was lacking, just couldn't really pierce this damn dinosaur like that. So, but the character right here that you see right here, he is the main protagonist, and he's pretty much the guy that Godzilla just keeps hammering on, just keeps taking stuff from. This man can't go nowhere long before Godzilla just comes out and just snatches the life out of him. And then, I'm sitting here like, dang, you done took his friends from the war. You came back to take, the woman that he should have married, and his adopted daughter, you tried to take her too, but luckily she survived. Then you went out here and you done blew up a whole dang city. Like, Godzilla in this movie was like super powered. Like, this is the strongest Godzilla I feel like that ever came out, as far as how you can see his abilities. And then the way he charges up, it's almost like he turning, I don't want to say he turned Super Saiyan, but it's almost like he charging up a Kamehameha wave, like, and then you just like, oh shoot. And then when it lands like a Kamehameha blast lands. Like, it blows up a whole area like a nuclear bomb. And it was just like, at this point, he got to go. This is when Godzilla is not, he don't care. Like, he just don't care. And there was no other monsters around for him to fight. So there really was nothing much you could do. And I also did a blog post on my website that's dropped on www.swiftcircuitent.com. That is my business name. That is also where all of my stuff posts. So if you want to check out my website, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go up here and you click, let's see, blog, and then it'll come up right here. And then you can just go through here and read and watch the trailer and everything else. So that way you can get into whatever that's going on with that. But like I said, y'all go and do that after you get done watching this video. And then, check out my blog post, check out the trailer, and then go see the movie. Just go see the movie. And tell me what you think. I would like to hear that in the comments. Tell me what you think. And so, so basically in Godzilla Minus, like I said, Godzilla starts off small. He's not fully grown yet. He starts off kind of like a dinosaur. Then over time, he basically mutates. So this happened after the atomic bomb. Then he comes back, and then that's when he starts terrorizing this guy. Now, they tried everything, right? And the one thing that they, didn't try was like, hey, how about we actually take something big enough to just, really do some damage internally? Because early on, when he first actually fought him, it was like, okay, they used mines in the water because they was going, cleaning up the World War II mines in the water, Pacific Ocean, and they threw them at him and then shot one of them in his mouth, and it popped his face open, and then that scar never left. It stayed on this Godzilla through the entire movie. And so at this point, it was like he was like a shark in the water. Like, I was like, wow, this is like Jaws now, you know what I'm saying? So that was crazy. And then, as the movie progressed, you know what I'm saying, he's still having this weird kind of romantic relationship where, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of like thinking like, this is so, of the Japanese culture, the way the relationship was. Because if this had been America, that back would have got broke. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. There's no way I'm being around a woman, that's been holding me down. I don't care what's going on. Like, but I understand his situation it was like he didn't commit the ultimate thing he was supposed to do. He was supposed to be a kamikaze pilot that sacrificed his life, and instead of doing that, he chose to live, which is the whole point of this movie, which is the most emotional part about this movie, is people choosing to live instead of dying for causes, thinking that it's honorable and just treating life like it's nothing. Then the people around you, they're affected by it because so much death at one time, right? A nuclear bomb hitting, killing all these people, flashing at, that many people in an instant. It takes a major toll on everybody still living because they gotta keep going until it's their time. And that type of stuff really affects people. And, even me, for example, like I've been through some stuff where, I felt like things weren't going my way, and, you know, you get real low. Sometimes depression will get you, you know what I'm saying, for all the things that you're here for. And I got a lot of friends that died, you know what I'm saying, they, either died from natural causes, from being sick from some sickness they had, or somebody just pulled up on them in their car, and, a couple shots happened, and then that was that. And it's unfortunate that we live in a world where people just go around killing people, and doing stuff to take things away from them, to try to, survive. But that's life, and it's unfortunate. So seeing that in here, and then seeing the emotion every time that happened, right? Every time somebody died, every time somebody got close to dying, like I really didn't want the characters to die. I really felt something. Like I was crying in theaters. I could not stop. Like I couldn't stop. Like if you see my video on TikTok, right, where, I can go and pull it up so you can see which one it is.
This video was brought to you by the Swift Streams PC channel. Go ahead and visit the Swift Streams PC shop. We have custom t-shirts as well as custom hoodies. Thank you, and please visit the Swift Streams PC shop.
I was like, man, like this is crazy. Cause I never felt nothing like this before. Where, I'm in the middle of getting myself together, and I just couldn't do it. So if you see my video right here where I'm talking about Godzilla Minus here on TikTok, and it should be on all platforms like Fanbase, Facebook, Instagram, I'm basically like, going through it because this movie really messed me up, emotionally, because it's talking about some real stuff. Like I know the pain of loss, and I know the pain of feeling like I can't do nothing about something. And so it's relatable in that sense if you ever lost somebody, or if you ever been in a situation where you couldn't do anything to stop somebody, and you just have to like figure it out. So I will give them that. They did figure out a good plan. Most of this plan was kind of similar to the old Godzilla movies, if you ever seen them. Since this is spoilers, we can talk about it. The bubble thing reminded me of that oxygen bomb. I think it was an oxygen bomb. Can't remember what it was called. But basically when they shoot Godzilla with it, it does some type of pressurized stuff in the water that it literally vaporizes the dang creature to dust. But in this situation, the same thing kind of happened, but they actually used the environment in the water to actually complete this task instead of just one and done a bomb, because they don't have the technology to make that bomb yet. Then, and all of this is sciencey stuff. I don't know if it's legit sciencey stuff, like stuff that can actually happen in real life. I would assume it has to be something similar to that, because why else would they put it in there even for this movie, even though they kind of did it with the bomb thing early on in Godzilla's history of being defeated by humans. So, but he's not, what I'm saying, it works, but it still wasn't enough. Godzilla still was freaking about to blow them to Kingdom Come. Like, it was crazy. This monster would not die. Like, at all. That's what made him scary. It was the fact that Godzilla's struggle to live continued on and on and on. It didn't matter. He didn't give a dang. Now, they didn't show enough Godzilla to really hammer that home, that he would do anything in monsterly possible to stay alive. They didn't really hammer that home. But I assume if they do make a part 2, they may do that. And it'll probably be in a different time period, maybe like in the 60s or 70s or 80s or something. It had to be when all of those people are dead, and they done moved on, or old or something, and he comes back. It has to be something like that. It can't be the same period. Only reason why I say that is because it just wouldn't work. So I think this is gonna be the best Godzilla movie they ever made. I also think this is the best movie of 2023. I don't care what you say. Guardians 3, it had similar moments in it. It made you cry when Rocket heart gave out. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen Guardians 3. I mean, I was jacked up during that whole scene because I'm like, this is what I need my movies to be like superhero fatigue. What? Bad movie where? That's what I'm saying. Like, we had a hit or miss year with movies this year. And I didn't see some of these movies that people are saying may be on the same level as Godzilla Minus, like Oppenheimer and a couple of other movies. But yeah, they really got me with the Guardians 3 thing. So I get them a close second. But I get this one first because this one actually made me feel so much emotion that, like, I felt it in the pit of my stomach. Like, it was that bad because it was so much hanging on the line for this man. Like, he has a daughter, even though it's a adopted daughter. I didn't care. He got friends and family. He lost his woman, and it was just like, that girl needs him, though, at the end of the day. The people that he leaving behind still need him, even though he may not feel like they do. So, that type of thing, it really hits you, too, if you have kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a kid now, so for me, it hit different, like, when you got kids. And if you don't, I mean, it's still gonna hit you because there's still something else there that you can attach to. Like, if you had a relationship, like, the woman, you know, by the end, you know, she come back. I mean, bruh, I was speechless. I could not talk. I could not breathe. I couldn't even think. When she was still alive and he got to experience that reconnection and everything, knowing that she ain't dead and she's alive and getting back to health, and they can finally have that family that they never had because he's finally finished his war. It was his war basically that was in his movie, you know, after World War II. And he finished it, you know what I'm saying? So this is amazing. I don't know how they wrote this to be so well. Cause I'm telling you, like, the writer Takashi Yamazaki, he did his thing, man. Like, he really did. Like, I think they said they made up the 50 million off of this movie in America, and I think they probably would have, this would have been $1 billion film if it was promoted more than what it is, because it deserves it, like, for real. Like, this movie really deserves it. And you know, everybody in here did their job, did what they were supposed to do, as far as really selling home the characters and making you feel something about them. And that girl, the little girl that played in this as the daughter, the adopted daughter, every time she cried, like, you know, you really felt it because later down the line, like, something happened, and it was like the tears were real. I don't know how they got her to do it, but oh my God, just hearing that and then thinking like, dang, should I kill myself, you know, for the greater good, or should I try to come up with another plan? But that plan might not work, and we'll be, you know, in trouble at that point, like even more trouble. Godzilla, they turned it into a super villain. Like, he was a force of nature that just could not be stopped by conventional means, right? Like, you really had to think outside the box, especially in this time period, right? So I'm ready for Godzilla versus Kong. I think that's going to be good. I saw the trailer. Thought the trailer was amazing. I hope all of you guys will go see that. If you're in Atlanta and you know what I'm saying, you want to go see that movie together, I'm thinking about getting together some people and, you know, going to go see some movies. So that's the end of this Swift Talk. Go see Godzilla Minus now. Like I said, this is one of the best. No, this is the best monster movie in history. And this is the best movie this year, right? It has the most emotions in it you'll ever experience. But you tell me what you think in the comment section. Appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next Swift Talk.
That swift talk, that swift talk.
You can't understand us, cause you're too soft.
Shit, dirty coke.